What's up, family? Listen, I'm back yet again with another episode. It's episode, I believe, 9, of the TheJayKelzPodcast. This is your host, Jay Kelz, in Jay's Corner. You already know what it is, man. Listen, I just want to talk to you real quick. I always say that, and then it's not real quick. Listen, I'm learning as I'm going. But I want to talk to you real quick. I just talked to a friend of mine, actually, literally just 5 minutes ago, about communication. And there's a couple points that I made that I wanted to address to you all. I didn't think it was something that I should have kept to myself, to be fruitfully honest. And it went like this. So she was telling me about, communication, and we all talk about communication. We all talk about specified communication and the need for it and how it's necessary in each and every relationship that we have, of course, right? But specifically in the realm of relationships intimately, and how men, I'm gonna say this because I know not everyone is men and women now, but on the realm of men and women, I think a lot of times, which is the biggest thing that I hear, at least in my demographic, is that, in my social circle, I should say, is that we just don't talk. As guys, we just don't talk the way that women would like us to talk. We don't expound on things. We don't open up as well. And I know this is talked about all the time, but I just want to make 2 points that I think is vital that we just don't either see, or we neglect, or we just don't take ownership of. And for one, ladies, one of the reasons I think communication isn't as prevalent as it should be between us, you and us, is that we don't always want to tell y'all everything. If I could just be fruitfully honest, of course there's a reason behind it, but some things are just communication. We need to have communication, blah, 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 blah. Yes, but some things, some specific topics of conversation we just really don't want to address with you. Even if it hurts us to not say it, or to not say it to you, we still don't want to do it, because in that relationship, in the past experiences with you possibly saying something to you that was vulnerable, or that was whatever the case may be, something transparent between you and I, as quote unquote, as us as men, is that you may have misconstrued what we were trying to say, or misinterpreted, or flip the whole narrative of what we were trying to say to you to make it make sense for you in whatever your argument is, or whatever the contention is about. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing. I'm not saying that women are bad at communication either. Well, some can be, but that's a whole other thing. But as of right now, I'm just saying a lot of reasons why the men don't always talk to y'all, even in relationships, even with the woman that we love, is sad. One is just we don't want to tell y'all everything. We just don't want to talk sometimes. And we want to process things on our own. And sometimes I think we forget that it's okay to let each other process things on their own. How I process things, as we already know, may not be how you process things. And we don't always have to come together as a collective, because everything in life isn't about the both of you. Of course, you can make decisions based upon the both of you, the future of the both of you, sure. But there's some still individualities about us, some uniquenesses that we have to go through on our own. And sometimes it takes us to go through certain things on our own, even while you're still on our side. You know what I'm saying? That's one different thing that we don't really want to just address. Just being bluntly honest, we just don't want to talk about it. It's not that all of us have this rooted, back in the day, we have these roots, family ties that we can't do. No, sometimes we just don't want to talk. And then 2, one I think is a little heavier, but I think it needs to be talked about more, is the simple fact that because we are together in a relationship and we have time and had history and things of that nature, it doesn't necessarily mean that we were suitable and that you and I have the best set of attributes to handle or carry the weight that comes with you and I both individually. We've tried it. We've tried all the transparency. We tried all the communication. And sometimes we still miss the mark simply because, believe it or not, we're not always meant to be together. We can talk all day. We can talk till we're blue. We can have counseling. And at some point in time, we have to be honest and say, this just may not meant to work long term. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to talk about that either. Both man and woman, a lot of times we're just simply not built to last together. We just may not. It may have been meant to happen, but it may not have been meant to be for the rest of the duration of our lives. You know what I'm saying? we got together for whatever the reasons was. We may have simply been out of compatibility, but we just wasn't suitable in the areas or having the level of capacity to withhold each other up and gird each other up, undergird each other to a way to where it's both healthy for the best of us. Sometimes it's not necessarily just strictly communication. Sometimes it's communication and we still just don't learn each other's language. And we still don't know how to just construct a real, concise, effective, efficient way to just talk with amongst each other. And sometimes it's okay. It hurts, but it's okay. It's just one of those indicators that this just may not meant to be long term. And sometimes because of love and because of circumstances, because of children we've had, because of, again, time allotted, because of history, whatever the investments we've made in financially, whatever it is, we want to stick in that thing. But it's not always necessarily healthy to just stick into something. I said this in a previous episode. But you just can't stick in something because of it. You know what I'm saying? If you're not happy, especially. If it's not healthy, especially. But one of the key components, one of the greatest supplements for relationships is having healthy communication, healthy dialogue, healthy back and forth. It can't just be one-sided. I'm talking and you're listening, which is fine, but then you don't reciprocate anything I'm giving to you. Of course. But again, sometimes it's not just ladies. Sometimes it's just not about strictly communication on that level. Sometimes we just don't want to communicate. Sometimes that doesn't mean that a relationship by itself is wrong. No. Sometimes we just don't want to do or want to say certain things in certain instances because you may take it wrong. You may take it a little further than we would like for it to. It may erect a whole other argument or conversation. And because of our history with you, because of our past experiences with you in these certain areas, we just don't want to talk. And it's okay. We'll figure it out. Unless we ask for it, require some assistance. Then the second one, again, that's a little heavier. I thoroughly believe that we need to talk more about is a simple fact that we can communicate all day, talk all day, talk in our separate languages between men and women, and still miss the mark. And sometimes, because we miss it, we just say, oh, you wasn't a good communicator. And that's not always the case. It's not always the case that she's just not a good communicator. He's just not a good communicator. So no, sometimes you can communicate, like again, you can communicate all day in your language. But if you're not willing to learn the other's language, the other's patterns, if you're not willing to learn what they say without saying a word, you're gonna miss it. You're gonna miss it. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. Does that make sense to you? I hope so. You got it? You got it right. Okay, good. So hey, listen. It's another quick episode. This was a quick one. It was actually a quick one. A little less than 10 minutes, I see. That's I start rambling. But y'all, listen, it's back again. Another episode. I think episode 9 again of the TheJayKelzPodcast. Back in Jay's Corner. And I just wanted to say this, man. Get this off my chest impulsively before I forgot it. It's early in the morning. I'm not going to tell you what time it is, but it's cool. Listen, feel free. Share with me some questions, some topics of conversation. Let's get acquainted. Let's talk, man. Let's get to know each other more. Let's grow. Let's go. Let's go beyond. Let's go deeper. You know what I'm saying? Let's go into some things, dissect some things that we really need to talk about and express. I'm down with it. Are you down with me? Let's do it. Okay? Until the next time.